Happy New Year! Hello crafters, it is a new year and I hope you had an awesome New Year's Eve. If you're like me, you're probably really tired because you stayed up to watch the ball drop and then you stayed up even later than that because you're like so hyped up on all your snacks and just the excitement of everything and you couldn't fall asleep. So, you know, you might be like me, a little tired, but that's okay. I've got a nice, simple project today. This one is especially for the kiddos who are stuck inside, still on break, going, what do I do with myself before school starts back up? So here's a fun indoor, a little bit messy, but not super messy project that you can tackle in an afternoon. We are going to be coloring paper with shaving cream. Now I know that sounds really weird, but trust me, it's really cool. So materials, we will obviously want shaving cream. We will need some paper. I've cut it down into smaller sections because I think that it works better. You can use plain printer paper, you can use cardstock, just some plain white paper. The secret to coloring our paper is actually food coloring. So make sure you're careful because the food coloring can stain your work area or your clothing. We will need some popsicle sticks and some toothpicks, and these are going to help us get our designs. And last of all, you want something to work on. I'm using a cookie sheet because I can fit my whole piece of paper on here and I'll just be able to rinse it off once I'm done. So let's get started on today's project. So I'm going to start with my surface that I'm working on and I'm going to take my shave cream and just spray a thin layer. I didn't mention this before, but you will need foaming shave cream as opposed to like gel or something like that. You don't need a whole lot. I'm just gonna spray a little bit here. So once I have some of my shave cream sprayed out, I'm going to use a popsicle stick or you can use your hand. I'm just going to spread it in a thin layer that's big enough for my sheet of paper to fit on. Now you don't want to smear it so it's like this flat. You want it to be thick enough so that way you can do some designs with the food coloring, but it doesn't need to be super thick. So check that it's big enough for your paper. Perfect. Now it's time to pick your food coloring. I'm gonna go with some green because I like green. And I think I'll see if I can make like kind of an orange color by using the red and yellow right beside each other in the blue. Okay, so I just got my basic food coloring here and I'm going to put some drops of food coloring on here. You probably don't need as much as you think you do. So go light on the food coloring at first. I'm just gonna put a drop, a couple of spots. The blue drop. And this thing's empty. All right, I'm gonna try to make some orange by doing a drop of yellow and then some red directly on top of it. Again, you don't need much food coloring and we can always come back later and add more. So once you've put your drops of food coloring on there, it's time for the fun part. Get out a toothpick and swirl a design. You don't wanna dig super deep into the shaving cream. And you can do all kinds of patterns where you come out. Once your design is swirled the way you want, it's time for the paper. Take my sheet of paper, I'm going to set it on top of here and just gently push down directly onto the shaving cream. You don't want to do a whole bunch of wiggling, you want to just put straight down because then it'll keep your pattern that you just swirled as intact as possible. Make sure you press down everywhere, get all those air bubbles out. And the shaving cream doesn't really absorb the dye, so the food dye basically is just kind of sitting on the shave cream and now it gets transferred to the paper. Make sure you press all those air bubbles out so you don't miss any of the design. And once you have pressed it all the way down, it's time to pick up our sheet of paper. Going to gently peel back and I'll be left with a really cool design on my piece of paper. Now if you have any shaving cream on here, you'll need to scrape it off. I'll just use another popsicle stick to get that off. And it might feel a little bit damp just from the moisture in the shaving cream. That's okay, just let it air out. And once your paper dries, you will now have some fun dyed paper. You can do this several times with the same design. You can add more food coloring and go back and make a new design. Do another one on the same one. Voila! Just keep peeling back to reveal your designs. You can always, once you've done a few designs, you can take all your shaving cream and mush it back together, re-spread it out, and do some new designs. Make some really pretty marbled paper in this way. So you see these spots that are still white, that means we had air bubbles there, but I kind of like it that way. I think it looks really pretty and it revealed some of those colors that were hidden by the shaving cream. If you want to get more precise colorings, you can get a toothpick and dip it directly into your bottle of dye and then drag it on there, and that'll keep you from having big clumps where you put the drop of dye initially. So there you have it. Here is an easy way to marble some paper. Lots of fun designs you can make with this. A couple of bonus ideas is you can try and get your food coloring to kind of spray on here. I just kind of blew on it gently as it was falling down. It kind of splattered to make those dots. Another technique would be to wet certain spots of the paper first. And if you look on the back of this one, you can kind of see a spot where it was wet. So you can get some different effects by playing around with it. Of course, you can always stick with the basic drops, swirling them around. You can just do an easy back and forth with some basic colors. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this project. Let me know what your favorite way to make a design was. I know I loved this when I was younger, because let's be real, who doesn't love playing with foaming shaving cream? So I hope you have a happy new year, and I can't wait to see what 2019 brings for all of us. Happy crafting! Hey, if you like my funky headband, check it out. I'll put the video right over there. Don't forget, if you're new here to Crafters Autonomous, hit subscribe. I post a new tutorial Tuesday or TuTu every single week on a Tuesday. So make sure you hit the subscribe and then hit the bell button down below so you get notified when new videos come out. And don't forget to check out some of my other projects around here.